Today's topic is what a social entrepreneur is doing in rural India. Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be with you once again. And today I have with me Sudhakar, who is an architect from IIT, lives in the US, but has been deeply involved in serving rural India, partly through social entrepreneurship, and now he tells me partly through charitable work. Let's hear from Sudhakar. Over to you.
Thank you, Subodh, for giving me this opportunity. I hope I can live up to the words you have said about me. As Subodh mentioned, I am an architect by training and practiced architecture in the US for quite a few years. At some point, I felt I should get involved in helping rural India as much as I can and know. And towards this end, I actually started a small company based on the premise that if people in rural areas struggling with their lives could be provided with a financial, technical, and managerial infrastructures, they can then take that and with some investment from outside, run small enterprises or money-making ventures. Based on this, I actually founded a company. It was called Infrasys, short for the three infrastructures required. And I went randomly into rural India, initially in Karnataka, aligning myself with some institutions like Krishi Vigyan Kendra, which are available in every district in India, and started investing very small amounts to create, if not full employment or gainfully secure employment, at least some forms of generating revenue. What were these projects? These were projects as elementary as vermicompost making, which they could either sell or use in their own lands. I helped people who were driving bullock carts who either had no bullocks or cart that needed repair.
Wait, Sudhakar, when you say helped, how did you help?
The structure was simple. I gave them money for whatever that purpose was at a rate of interest that I would have obtained at a bank had I put it in a fixed deposit.
Okay.
They repaid it on installment, and I basically took that money and put it back into their own neighbors, often, enterprises, similar or otherwise.
Okay, fine.
So, and the projects, as I said, continued in the agro-centric basis. There were also women who were growing this Sugandharaja, which is a flower which blooms at night, Rajinigandha, I think it's called in an art. They were growing those, and there were women who were making plastic bags. There were women who were spinning fiber from coconut. So these were all small enterprises that did not involve them leaving their homes or towns to go somewhere else and work. And many of these projects were successful for some, but overall it was encouraging.
Okay.
However,
Let me just stop you one more time. Sorry.
No, anytime.
I think your loans were bigger than what microfinance would do. Is it?
Microfinance, bigger, I do not know. In terms of quantum, if I may, microfinance's purpose is really ultimately to make money. They are finance companies that, in my opinion, use usurious interest rates to give money to people. I differentiate myself, even though it was financing, is my interest is not monetary gain. And if there was, it is only to keep the system honest, but repump the money immediately into other enterprises specifically.
Okay, got it. Okay, I got it. Let's move on. Let's move on from microfinance.
No, sure. So what happened, the realization that dawned on me over time, and I did this for quite a few years, and I still continue to, but not with the same vigor, is that whereas it is helping some, and it is helping some nominally, but the trends that were happening in society and in the economics could not measure up. My efforts could not measure up to those expectations.
Okay.
So many of them either dropped out or continued on a smaller scale. Combined with this, my accountant's advice that I was spending more money on his services than on the investments I was making.
Right.
I shifted the focus from an entrepreneurial mode to a more philanthropic or give where it's needed mode. I've not abandoned the enterprise. I'm still working on one or two, but it's not my full focus.
Okay.
On the NGO front,
But before we go there, can you
yes,
tell
please,
the one or two successes that you had?
Of the enterprises?
Yes.
Yes. The one that comes to my mind most is a village in Karnataka where they had the skill set to make these wonderful, colorful plastic bags that you find many in rural areas where they can carry anything from a child to a ration of rice. They're very colorful. And what they lacked was the money for the inventory of either variety of colors or the plastic threads themselves. And I stepped in and made that available.
Yeah.
And it started with 12 women. And in that village, the last time I checked, there were over 60 women doing this.
Okay.
Quite comfortably and successfully, even though they were all close. They were competing with each other, but there was an industry had developed in that cluster of villages.
Okay, fine.
I mentioned that as one.
Yeah.
There are a few others. The bullock cart men were also very happy with their ability to put cart and wheel together and run their enterprise. But times have changed.
Yes.
So their livelihood has declined by other social and economic factors.
Okay. All right.
So shifting to, I took the accountant's advice and shifted to more of an NGO mode.
Okay.
And here, my own philosophy or approach was not dissimilar to the entrepreneurial front, is that it is better to elevate a majority of disadvantaged rather than focus on the few who might deserve attention. It's a philosophical statement. A good example would be, which I have done, I've given books to schools, government schools, as a library formation. An amount I prefer to spend in this mode rather than select 2 students and give them scholarship.
Okay.
Not that the other is wrong. I'm explaining. I'm explaining my process. On this front, which I have continued, except with some difficulty during the COVID years, I focused on government schools, where my intervention has had to do with, as I said, providing libraries. I have made available permanent plates, stainless steel plates, for the midday meals, which the children now keep in the school. Sure. Normally they used to bring, and I've seen children sharing one plate because either one child forgot or they couldn't afford.
Right.
So and then for cooking the midday meals, this is some years back, there's a company in Chennai that makes very efficient stoves which burn wood.
Yeah.
So I supplied schools with those.
Okay.
And bicycles for girl children who came from distant villages.
Sure. Yeah, I understand.
So this is the type of intervention that I'm currently doing. We've also published in 3 languages, Tamil, Telugu, and Kannada.
Wait, let me stop you there. As an
Please.
economist, I would say what you are doing is you are building the future of India. You are investing in the future. You're investing in the children so that they learn and they're healthy. We call this human capital.
Yes.
So it's human capital that you are building, because the future of India depends upon these kids. If they don't eat properly, if they are stunted, if they don't read properly, how the heck are they going to be productive? They just have no hope. So it's very important, and it actually shows the failure of the government system to do this. That, they cannot provide the education and they cannot provide the food which NGOs have to step in for.
Yes, you have given me a good segue into the other aspect I wanted to touch,
Okay.
which is the role of the NGOs themselves.
Yes.
As you have mentioned, step in. I think very broadly it does one of two things. One is the necessity, by neglect of the government, the NGO's role to have to step in. And at the same time, in my observation, the more the NGOs step in, the more the government becomes negligent on those fronts, saying that it is being addressed
Yes.
by the NGO front.
Yes.
So in a way, we are giving the government license to be more truant
Yes.
on their behavior. That's broadly one. And secondly, if I may put this in a historical context, in 47, when the independence was gained, the biggest hurdle to that was not the colonial powers leaving, but in convincing the 500 odd princely states and the Maharajas to come into the Indian fold, knowing that it would become a republic.
Right.
And this is important because the declaration and the intention to be a republic was stated, implemented, and codified.
Yes.
However, the practice of being a republic is where I think we have, as a country and as a government, somewhat failed, not somewhat, miserably failed.
Okay.
Because the three things that a republic should address in terms of overall society, which was inequality and the disadvantages certain sectors might have, and thirdly, the role of privilege.
Yeah.
So the government has failed to attack all these three.
Okay.
And this is why I think NGOs step in, because they try to address the disadvantage and the inequality and the privileges that are really the hurdles to a more egalitarian development model.
Yeah, okay. I understand this very well. I know this as a theoretical economist. I'm also trying to do something about it, but let's not get into that. Let's just focus on your experience. And how well do you think NGOs are doing? How well do you think they're able to step in?
I think the role of NGOs that are offering remedial measures, somewhat similar to what I'm attempting to do on a very small scale, do have an impact in pockets.
Yeah.
But the role of the NGOs, which that would, I think, carry some weight in the change in that one hopes, are the NGOs that are in advocacy.
Okay.
Where they dissect policies and suggest where it could be remedied. They have, I think, a bigger and more important role than someone like me, who, while satisfying either my guilt or my generosity, offers small solutions. This will not bring about change.
Okay, all right, fair enough. But before we talk about this, actually, I want to go back to your midday meals and the libraries. That's known all over the world as a very successful intervention. The midday meal, I think, in India was created in Tamil Nadu way before independence. And all over the world, it is known as a key intervention. And, in the US, maybe you were here at the time in the COVID times, but at least in our area, when the schools shut down, the midday school lunch vanished.
Not here.
Okay. In around Washington area, that lunch vanished. And soon people realized that the kids are now going to be hungry because the school lunch has vanished. So they set up alternative systems by which the kids could have the school lunch. So how do you find the school lunch that you are providing? Does it really satisfy the students? Does it satisfy the teachers? Do you see any impact of it? I mean, you're providing the plates only.
Yes, correction. Yes, you're correct. I wanted to correct you.
You're not providing the food.
No, the meals are provided by government funding.
But you have facilitated it by bringing
I facilitated it. Yes, mainly the preparers of food whose work is reduced because they have to collect less fuel because the stove is more efficient.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of its impact, I will again use Tamil Nadu as an example, which has had the longest history of this.
Yeah.
Is that unlike Kerala, where birth rates and attendance in school were achieved and literacy were achieved through government intervention under the communist government in Namboodiripat's government.
Right.
In Tamil Nadu,
wait. For the young people, that was in the 1950s. They don't know Namboodiripad.
Yes, correct.
So
correct.
I will stop you and say this Namboodiripad government was there in the 1950s.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
However, Tamil Nadu's achievement of both women's literacy, birth rate, and the attendance in school has come through the midday meal.
Yes.
The midday meal was the reason many chose to leave their children in school because they were assured of one decent meal.
Yes.
So the proof of Tamil Nadu makes it a very valid case that it's our collective responsibility to ensure a nutritious and predictably available meal to children in school.
Yeah, I agree.
And if I may add an anecdote, anecdote to this.
Yes.
Very often children who are not in school will wander into the school where their brother or sister might be studying. And this might be breaking the rules and the laws, but the younger children, siblings who are not yet in school are also fed.
Yes. They have no choice.
There's no choice. The child shows up, you feed the child.
Right.
And so it's not a regular occurrence, but I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
But the magic of that trickle down, even to the siblings who are not yet in school, makes it even more magical and wonderful.
Yeah, I agree. And the midday meal is a key to reducing hunger and building human capital.
Yes.
Whether they read the books or not, that is uncertain, but that they will eat the meal, that is certain.
Yes.
And that they will get benefit from that meal, that is certain, right? So really, it is a well-proven, there's no debate about it. It works.
No.
Yeah, it works. It needs to be there. Okay. Anything else you want to tell the viewers?
No, other than the fact that if you, nothing of what I have said is a discouragement from anyone who wishes to do this for any segment of your fellow human beings anywhere in the world is worth doing. Whether the only thing I suggest is do it with no expectations of a pat in the back or rewards or successes. Do it because you feel it's needed. And it is directly, indirectly, or now or later benefiting somebody.
Okay. Well, thank you. That's the wisdom from a grizzled old man who has been through it. We are all both getting to be grizzled old men.
Yes.
You are looking more grizzled than I am.
Yes.
But with this, let's say bye to the viewers.
Thank you. Subodh, thank you for the opportunity and thank you for everything.
I'll be back next time with another speaker. Till then, bye from me and from Sudhakar.